It's your boy Yule,
I'm Margaret.
and this is Can We Talk About It?
And we are here today with a special guest at Allure Studios. We're with Amy. She is the founder, and everything you see here is her work. So we're just gonna talk with her a little bit about everything she does, her art, her studio, hopes, dreams, fears, and no, I'm just kidding.
We ain't getting that deep.
No fears? Okay, next
I don't
time.
know, maybe.
So just to kind of start out, get how you got to this point where you're at now. When did you realize you wanted to be an artist, and then kind of just take us through your journey from that point until where you're at now with your own studio?
Well, I first started painting when I was 11. It was something that I just did for fun to calm myself down. But I never called myself an artist. I continued to practice art, went to Michael's when I got older and got supplies, but I still never really saw my talent. And I still became a teacher. I love kids, so I still was focused on becoming a teacher. My mom is a teacher, but teaching is stressful. Okay. So I would sign up for a paint party, a paint and sip, a Groupon, and go once a month. I would have that on my calendar just as something fun to do. And then my room and my wall in my room started looking like this. And all my friends are like, "You're really talented, your art is dope." I'm like, "I'm not an artist. This is just for fun." And then in 2017, I went through a really, really dark place, and I saw a life coach. And he asked me, "What is it that I love to do?" And the first thing that I said was painting. So he's like, "Write that down." And then he's like, "So, what would you do with that if you could?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, I teach, so maybe I could teach art classes or something." He's like, "Write that down." And as I started to write in that session, I literally wrote out my vision for the studio without even knowing. He's like, "What would you name your studio? What colors would it be? What vibe do you want it to be?" And then he said, "Well, your first step is to really truly manifest yourself as an artist." So I started an Instagram, putting my art out. I introduced myself to people not just as a teacher, but also an artist. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, opportunities just started coming to me. I just had to be myself. And then all of 2018, I got chosen to do so many art shows. And somebody reached out to me to do to teach a paint class in Harlem. I'm like, I never did that before, but I can try. So then I went, got the job, and I worked there for 2 months. And then after that, I'm like, why do I always have to go to Harlem or Brooklyn or wherever, Manhattan, just to do paint classes? Mm-hmm. I live 10 minutes away from the studio. It's in Hollis, Queens. So that was important to me too, having a space that was close to home, but also had pieces that were culturally relevant, that served our people. That was another thing I saw. I went to one paint party and I asked for brown paint and they didn't have it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "How you don't have brown?" But yeah. Okay, so I had to mix so many colors. I finally did it. That was actually the out of wine painting, this one. That I had to make that.
You were also out of brown. Nice.
I was out of brown. I was like, "What?" So that, and then after that, I spoke to my dad about just the idea of doing a paint party space. I would always do my birthday parties at a paint party place, but it was always so far. Mm-hmm. So then I found this space. And I told my dad about it, and I thought he was gonna be like, "Girl, you're crazy." But he was like, "I wanna see it." So we came, then I wrote out a whole business model of the process of how people could do a paint party. And in April of 2019, that's when we opened. So I'm almost at 2 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So that happened from 2017. I was always an artist. I never claimed it. When I finally did claim it in 2017, I really started feeling like I was walking in my purpose and my path. Mm-hmm. And then this has just happened. So Yeah. It's like,
That's crazy.
That's super cool.
The life coach. No,
I know. I got you.
Right.
If you need.
Right, my man
I need to
said,
figure
write
some
it down.
shit out.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
But that's
Yeah.
definitely like the moral of the story for me was just like when you really truly embrace your gift, embrace your allure, what I call it. That's why I named the studio Allure Art Studio. Because your allure, the word allure means to powerfully charm, entice, tempt people, bring people into you. And I believe we all have an allure about us that I didn't have to go to school for art. It's just in my hands. It was placed in my mother's womb, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's something that we all have to recognize. Like you can go to school for certain things, but like, what is that allure about you that you don't have to, you just could be yourself and people are just drawn to that aspect of you. So that's kind of like why I want this. This is more than just paint parties or paint place. To me, it's more for people to really feel inspired by me discovering my allure and living in it every day, so people could come here and be like, what's my allure? And do more of that.
Firstly, an awesome story about how this whole place came to be, and as you look around, you can see like all the different art pieces and like I'm sure all of them have a story behind it, right? But tell us a little bit more about, I guess, your artistic style and what and who kind of inspires you there.
Yeah, I like to keep it kind of simple. I feel like my pieces are easy to replicate in your own style. I like colors. I like adding glitter or like some type of mixed media. Like this piece over here, I lost the other earring, that one that you said you like. And I just love that earring so much that I just put it on the painting. So, but I like to add, I think it adds a little like glitz and glam to the piece when you add a little shine. So yeah, I keep it bold, very clean. I wouldn't say that I have like a particular person that I like emulate their style. I just do my own thing. And I've seen people that have like more intricate styles, like very detailed, or I don't really get that deep. I just want it to be able to look clean, and that if I wanted to teach it to you, I could. Yeah.
So you kind of touched on like what led to you opening up the studio, but just so people know and in case they want to come, tell us about the kind of events that you have here.
Oh yeah, of course. So we're located on Jamaica 197th Street in Hollis, Queens. And I do paint parties here. So you can go on the website, choose which painting you really like.
What's the website?
AllureArtStudio.com.
Okay.
Thank you. And then once you go to the gallery, you could choose which painting you want everybody to do. And you have a 2-hour party here. You can bring food, drinks, decorations, have a private event. You need at least 6 people. The most I've had right now is maybe like 15. Just due to COVID. Before COVID, we would have like 45 people in here. But now smaller events. And I also rent it out for business meetings. People have done open mics, events, bridal shower, baby showers. So I also do that. I also do mobile parties. So if you have a backyard or a basement and you want me to bring the supplies to you, I do that as well. Then in COVID, I had to teach myself how to do virtual paint parties. So I do that too. I don't ship supplies. That's just not my ministry.
Got you.
So
UPS ministries doesn't work for you.
Amazon, all your stuff, Michael's your stuff, but I can like teach through Zoom. And then I also sell my artwork on t-shirts, bags, notebooks, things like that, and that's on the website as well.
Still thinking about this space, you did kind of talk about what it means to have a space like this in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you and I even talked before the podcast, because we're both from this area, how we just don't have certain things here. And I can't think of another space like this in the Jamaica area.
Right.
So what does it mean like to have a studio here, but also what is the art scene like in this area versus we think of like these more like arty neighborhoods like Bushwick and stuff like that. How is it different somewhere like here? Like what do you see?
That's a good question. I don't really see it as much. There is a studios, Hall of Fame Studios on Jamaica Avenue. They do something similar with like it's like a gallery. So in this area, I know of certain artists, but just being on this corner, the amount of people in this community that come in and they just stare through the window because they're like, what is this? I've never seen this. This is so good for like us over here. Random people may come in and give me their business card and they are an artist, but they don't have spaces. So I actually wanted to start doing just like open art events for artists in the area to come in, bring their supplies, and just vibe and network, because I think that's also lacking. But it's huge for this community. It's like being here has been super tremendous for me. Just going down the block to the supermarket and they're like, oh yeah, you the girl from that art place. What do y'all do there? Yeah. So it's definitely needed. A lot of people come to me, they walk in with their child, like, my kid loves to draw, she loves to paint, do you do art classes? So that's also like important to me too, because as a teacher, I love kids and I love to see kids just channel their creativity. And when I do the art classes and then their parents are like, oh, you messed it, like telling them, oh, you messed this up, I'm like, don't tell them that. Like, there's no such thing in art as like, oh, they messed this up. Like, let them kind of be. So eventually I'd like to maybe make the space some type of like an art program, like an after school
That's really cool.
type of program for kids in the area, because I realize that they don't have, a lot of them may go to dancing school or they go to like drumming classes or like a music school, but there's not really like an art school or like that type of after school program. So that's something I'm working on, trying to figure out.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What has been your best and worst experiences?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to talk a little shit.
Yeah.
Give us the
Oh,
no, I'm
no,
just kidding. You don't
Give
get
us the
anything.
tea.
Get your teacup ready.
All right. Oh, you already have it. She said, okay.
I don't know yet. I got to think about the worst. I never thought about that.
Give us the best, and then we can go.
Okay. So the best experience as an artist, I was chosen to be one of the artists to paint the Black Lives Matter mural on Jamaica Avenue by Kings Manor on like Jamaica 150th. So that was super powerful for me, especially during a time where, you know, our community was really feeling like the wrath of the Black Lives Matter movement and the death of George Floyd and all of that was going on. And I was a part of also a protest soon after that happened on Jamaica. I went to Hillcrest High School, which is also in that area. So it was really powerful to like be in those same stomping grounds from high school years later, now marching with people that are all about, you know, fighting for the rights of our people. And then a few months after that, being chosen to do the mural, which took 3 days to do. Wow. And it was only maybe about 6 artists that were doing it. So it was that could have been the worst experience too, because it was hot. Sweated out on my edges. But it was really, really powerful. And then maybe like 2 weeks after that, I was asked to do a paint party on the mural. So they had it still blocked off. And we had people, just random people walking past, just come and sit down and do like a piece. It was like an Africa piece that it was really, really awesome. So that was the best experience. The worst experience. I really don't have, I mean, it could get like, not worse, like any type of shade at anybody. I think the hardest experience for me, like, I'm like a one-woman show. So doing the books, doing the inventory, hosting, I'm actually teaching. I teach all the classes. I do have an assistant, but a lot of the work is on me. Wow. So that was kind of hard. And then I had to my father had passed away in November of 2019, and I had to find people to teach classes that I had on the day that was his funeral. Oh, yeah. So that was the worst, to also this is like my baby, you know? So leaving it in the hands of other people and in that type of environment on top of that was really crazy. So that was probably like the most, like the worst time of my life, like trying to like manage being a teacher, doing this, and manage my life outside of, you know, of this was definitely like difficult. So yeah. I don't have no shady stories.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
That's good, actually.
And we're actually going to circle back to your best experience. So we're going to go back to a positive note. Because the next question we have was actually about the Black Lives Matter mural. And you did kind of already talk about like what it meant to you to be involved in that kind of project. But I wonder, what was the process? How did you end up getting picked for that? Because that's incredible. That's so cool.
So shout out to my friend Tanisha. She's like amazing in the government officials field. And she knew, like she kind of put the proposal up to the councilwoman of doing the Black Lives Matter mural. I know her through mutual friends. She knows me as an artist. I had worked with her before. She did a Juneteenth event at Roy Wilkins Park close by. And I did a live painting there. And that was really dope. People really, you know.
That sounds like pressure.
Live paintings is no joke. People standing over your shoulder, like looking what I'm like, oh my gosh.
What's that line? What's that going to be? What color is it?
But then I think that's the cool thing too, like you incorporate them. Because I would ask people that's like, oh, what do you think, what color I should do this? Or like, should I put glitter here and this? And then somebody actually bought it that same day. So Tanisha knew me as an artist, and she had like, there was one guy, Richard Parker. He's like a super dope tattoo artist and painter in Queens. So he was kind of like the head of the vision, and then it was me and other people that were chosen to do it. He had already like drew out the vision on his iPad, and we had to kind of like adapt it onto the street and add all the details that he wanted in it. So yeah, it was pretty much like all about who you know, to be honest. That's a lot of progress and success that you get is definitely about making connections, being around, like, and also letting people know what you do. If people don't know what you do, they don't know what, you know, they can't plug you.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you have to put out your work. You have to put out like everything that you're about. And whenever you can do a name drop so that they can like say, okay, if I ever hear somebody that want to do a paint party, you know, I'm gonna let them. And that's pretty much how I've gotten business and how I get chosen for certain things, is just through people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Look at that.
I'm so happy that you're
Thinking back to the Black Lives Matter mural, and the relationship between art and activism, do you think, you know, paintings or art in general should have like a meaning behind it, or do you think it can just be pretty and interesting?
I think it could be both. I think art speaks to everyone. Art is universal, it's ageless, it's timeless. And so sometimes your art can just be your mood. It may not be as deep as you want it to, you know, or has to be. But it definitely can speak volumes, and it could connect with so many people on so many levels. And so I do think that we should use art as activism. I do think it's a powerful tool, because let's look at social media. We're like super visual beings right now. Like we all have like this, like we love seeing those visuals, right? So if you put your art out there, it should have some type of meaning behind it. But some people just want a little cute piece that they just want in their bathroom. So, but it should be more about just what speaks to you. That's like what art is. It's definitely just something that can live way beyond our time. We look at people way from the past. If people could still talk about Frida Kahlo and Picasso's work and still like have it in galleries way before after their time, you never know where your art can go. So it should definitely have meaning and power to it, but it should just be your style.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up? And you already told us like your website, but if you want to repeat it again and just tell people where they can check out all your work, if they want to buy anything, if they want to support.
Oh, get that support. Yes, so the Instagram is Allure Art Studio. My website is allureartstudio.com. And to be honest, I'm kind of like on like a slow ship with the studio right now, just because of COVID and things kind of slowly opening back up. I did do a few events for Valentine's Day. I'm like really into like holidays, so I like to do themes of things. I do have a women's health and wellness pop-up coming up on March 28th.
Okay.
Ooh.
So the last Sunday in March, if you want to come and support some women of color in business that have like body butters and candles and things like that, all about health and wellness. They're gonna have some speakers here as well. So that's something coming up. My birthday is coming up.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
When's your birthday?
April 17th.
Okay.
Yes. So
what we doing?
I'm thinking I'm gonna do like a formal dinner here to celebrate. Also, because that's
nice.
gonna be the 2-year anniversary. But it's not. It's a private event. It's not open invitation. So I just wanted to plug that because I was excited about it.
Yeah,
y'all
y'all
not
can't come.
invited, but
but it's happening.
It is happening. And then in May, the next big thing I want to do is like a Mother's Day brunch.
Oh, nice.
Very
I might
cool.
do like a mommy and me, and then like a Mother's Day brunch for like grown mommy and daughter pairs, or mommy, whatever, mommy son, because I did a daddy daughter for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I was like,
That's cute.
It was just so like amazing to see, because that's like, I love girl dads.
Yes.
It's just like everything to me.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. The health and wellness, the end of March, and then mommy events in May.
And those will both be here?
Yes.
Okay, great.
They'll all be here. And then Father's Day, I'll probably do something too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we think about Father's Day, whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, I love dad. Okay,
Yeah, I'm messing with you. Yeah. Very cool.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. And we'll definitely be back for some of your events. You guys should come back for some of our events. And it's a great space. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes,
today.
of course.
Yeah, we
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
All
All right. Bye, guys.